Lee and Laura, so nice to meet you. Congratulations on Foundation Season 2. I think it's one of the most beautiful science fiction series I've ever seen. And the two of you as Brother Day and Dermazel, the performances are fantastic. So I'm so excited for fans to see Season 2, first of all.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
for your
you.
kind
Yeah.
words. We're glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, yes, for sure. Well, this is based off of short stories and novels. I love book to film adaptations. Lee, of course, you're represented a little bit here with the
I,
Twilight
I'm
universe.
hiding in the woods somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And your bestie, Sarah Michelle Gellar, of
There
your
she is. I was
co-star for
definitely, I've
Possession.
taken in your whole, your, here you
I'm
go,
curious.
right?
Yes, I'm curious for the two of you. Do you have a favorite book adaptation to series or film? I know that there's a lot, but is there a particular favorite of yours? Obviously, Twilight, Harry Potter, Gone Girl for me, but each of you have a favorite?
Oh, I do have one. Portrait of a Lady with Nicole Kidman
Oh my
and
gosh,
John
yes.
Malkovich, Barbara Hershey. Such a
Yes.
great book. Like one, you could argue one of the best books, and a beautiful adaptation. So
I'm
those are my
blanking.
answers.
My brain is just doing wee.
I have tons of questions for you guys, so don't worry. The two of you, you're playing an android, a robot, and also a clone, and you literally act with your entire bodies for this role. I'm curious, is there something when you're stepping back into these characters? Is it being on set again? Is it connecting them to like the wardrobe, the makeup? Is there something for you as an actor that really helps you connect with the character again?
Yeah, but what I would say is that it's such a collaborative process, the whole
Mm.
thing. I mean, we're sitting here in front of you, but there's, a whole bunch of people who help us realize these characters. Our costume designer, Jane, Rory, who designed the sets. All of those elements come together to help you feel like a person that is very far from yourself.
Mm.
And when those things work as well as they do on Foundation, it just becomes play for us.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. We've discussed the
Yeah.
different contradictions and riddles inside our very unique relationship. But then we end up on set and we can play it out,
Yeah.
have
And
a good time.
definitely it helps creating the character, all the costumes and the kind of like seeing the world around you, kind of like all the other, like the people in the palace wearing the amazing costumes. Yeah, it gives a lot to the, like, because you can imagine it, a lot of things, but then like seeing all that around you kind of puts you in a different place where it's easier to start to explore from. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I want Dermazel's hairstyle. I loved all of her hair this season. It was fantastic.
Thank
Lee,
you. I love it
yes,
too.
yes. Lee, do you actually have a favorite memory of working in the Twilight universe and playing Garrett for Breaking Dawn? Do you have a favorite memory working on those series?
It was such a surreal experience working on Twilight. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into when I joined that one. And the first things that I shot were the big final battle scenes, which I believe were shot on. They basically had converted an ag barn where they auctioned cattle into a soundstage and then covered it with this vast white cloth. And then would spray it down with snow every once in a while. And then we would be lined there. So we basically shot that in a place where you auction cattle.
Well, the Twilight fans are gonna love that tidbit.
Well, it was such a fun. I have made friends for life on that job, and what a fun thing to be a part of.
I love that. Well, they are wrapping me again. Congratulations to the two of you. I'm hoping for more seasons of this show, and I cannot wait for fans to see your performances in season 2. The both of you are absolutely fantastic. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to speak with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you both. Bye.
Bye.
Jared, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Yes, congratulations on season 2. When I was rewatching season 1, I was actually just really, really loved the scenes where Harry is walking down Trinity College in Dublin. My mom and I just visited there last year, and it's just so cool that that is Dr. Selden's library. Talk about what it was like just filming in Trinity College, because it's just one of the most gorgeous libraries ever.
Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous. I mean, I think we're only there for one night, but yeah, it's beautiful. It's like a traditional good old-fashioned university library with great big vaulted ceilings and wooden shelves and lots of books on there, and you wonder who's read them all.
When you're stepping back into a character for season 2, is there a particular thing that really helps you just associate yourself with him again? Is it the wardrobe? Is it just being on set? Because the production and the wardrobe are a huge part of this series. So what is it for you in stepping back into Harry's shoes that just makes you really connect back with the character?
Yeah, you start the process before you get into costume, or you step onto set. You have to have started a long time before then. Part of it is familiarizing yourself with the journey that you had in season 1, what you understand of the goals were, and then you familiarize yourself with the scripts, and you try and start to figure out what your journey is, and how you're going to describe that journey, if you like.
You've been in so many different series and films, and obviously when you're playing a character over multiple episodes versus a 2-hour-long film, the character arc is different, but do you still approach the process and the character the same way when it's a series versus if it's a film?
Yeah, you start the process before you get into costume, or you step onto set. You have to have started a long time before then. Part of it is familiarizing yourself with the journey that you had in season 1, what you understand of the goals were, and then you familiarize yourself with the scripts, and you try and start to figure out what your journey is, and how you're going to describe that journey, if you like.
You've been in so many different series and films, and obviously when you're playing a character over multiple episodes versus a 2-hour-long film, the character arc is different, but do you still approach the process and the character the same way when it's a series versus if it's a film?
Yes, it is the same way. I have to say is that there's a sort of thing that's happened now, which is that they cross-board everything, which means that you basically shoot a 10-episode series as though it were a movie. And any scene from any episode can come up on any day. Whereas when you were shooting in a series, you'd shoot one episode at a time. So in a way, that was a more organic process, because the experience of shooting episode 2 could influence and speak to your experience and knowledge of how you were going to perform episode 3. But in this, you don't have that. So you've got to do a lot more work. There's a lot more imaginative work, because you're trying to guess where you're going to be when you haven't done it yet, So, and then, of course, when you do it, you find all these nuances which would have been so wonderfully useful, but you've already shot the scene after. So, it's a frustrating process, but it's the way they're doing it now.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's definitely an interesting perspective. Well, they are wrapping me. Again, congratulations to you. One of my favorite parts is the relationship between Harry and Gail. I think that you and Lou are fantastic together, and I truly cannot wait for fans to see season 2. And Lou, congratulations to you on season 2. I cannot wait for fans to see this. Your character had so many emotional moments in this season. So many different range of emotions as an actor. So first of all, congratulations to you. I love the character of Gail.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry. I was like, my dog is like just being super needy and is just like wanting
I'm here for it,
Oh, you're here for it.
What's her name?
This is Jack.
Jack. Hi, Jack.
Yes. Your character has had to sacrifice so much and has gone through so much trying to save the galaxy, so many different array of emotions, like I said. How have you personally related to her after stepping into her shoes for 2 seasons now?
Yeah, her perseverance is incredible, and it gives you hope that, like, no matter how bad things get, like, something good can still come out of it. And that's a really beautiful thing to try and keep in mind in my everyday life. It's hard some days. It's difficult, but mostly try. I'm trying to emulate that.
Yeah, no, 100%. The production and the costumes are one of my favorite parts of this series. I think it's visually one of the most beautiful sci-fi series of all time. When you're stepping back into a character, is there something particular for you that really helps you associate yourself with her?
I have a really, really special relationship with Gail's costumes and her shoes, and I just feel very different when I'm in certain things, and it's really important that there's still an essence of her in everything that she wears, even though, you know, it changes and evolves. So that is one of the most helpful things. Hair, and where that evolution of Gail's hair is really important to me. I have very many discussions about it, and it's like something I'm very, very much involved in, because I think it's super important that it's practical. It still honors like where she comes from and who she is, and as a woman of color, it's also really important for her in this world as much as it is for me in this world. So yeah.
Well, I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but I do love the relationship between, you know, your character and Leah's character, Hardin. And there's so many emotional scenes.
The concept that Gail even has any sort of blood-related family left, that is more like overwhelming than the idea that this woman's her daughter, I think, because she's just arrived at her planet. It's drowned. Exactly what the vision she saw happened, and everyone's dead. And to still have some sort of like blood relation exist is like out of this world, and let alone for that to be a woman who's older than you.
Exactly. No, that was definitely one of my favorite parts of the series. They are wrapping me. Again, congratulations to you. I cannot wait for fans to see you back as Gail in the season 2. It was such a beautiful performance. So again, congratulations.
Thank you so much. And bye, Jack.
I know, he's over there getting water. Thank you, Lou. Bye. Leah, so nice to meet you, and congratulations on season 2 of Foundation. I think the series is such a beautifully visually stunning science fiction series. I think it's one of the best visual shows I've ever seen. So first of all, congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was looking on your Instagram, and I know that you're a Shakespearean actor as well. I actually recently just saw a Midsummer Night's Dream at the Globe Theatre in London with my mom.
Nice.
Yes, and I love Shakespeare. I'm curious for you as an actor, when you're approaching the theater versus filming, do you approach that character differently? Because knowing that you're playing for a live audience versus playing for film?
I'd say actually the approach is pretty much the same. It's just the delivery that's slightly different. And so, you know, and so when I get the scripts, when I got the scripts for season 2, for instance, you know, I dissected them. I went through moment to moment. I looked at what my character wanted and what they know, what they're learning. And it's all those little details, I think, that really, the script work really helps as an actor just understand where you are, what you're doing, and gives you confidence in your work. And it's the same. It's the same for doing Shakespeare, and it's the same for doing, you know, Apple TV Plus Foundation.
I spoke with Lou yesterday, and the two of you just have so many emotional scenes this season. I don't want to get into any spoilers, but I truly can't wait for fans to see it. What is the craziest thing about acting against someone who's playing your mother, yet the two of you are pretty similar in age?
Yeah, it is a bit crazy. But I think, you know, I think we got used to it eventually. And it's interesting because the two characters, like you said, they're similar in age. Lou and I are similar in age. And there's a difference in what they want. You know, Salvor desperately wants this connection. And so we see whether they're mother, daughter, sisters, friends, the need for connection is the central part of it, I think. And you know, it's always going to be strange being like calling someone younger than you your mum. It's weird. And we see them kind of navigate that, and it's like, it's confusing, and it should be.
Yeah, but it's weird, but only in, you know, film or theater or TV could you do something like this, which is pretty cool. Yes. Well, I think that Salvor, you know, has been through so much, and it's been such a, like, so fascinating to watch her journey. When you're stepping back onto set, you know, the production is a huge part of this series, the wardrobe. Is there a particular thing that really helps you focus back into character, or is it just being around your fellow actors again? Is there a specific thing for you that really connects yourself to Salvor?
Yeah, there is. I think when it comes to like an actual thing, Salvor's coin is a real talisman for me. So that really helps me focus. And you know, the trick that Salvor does with her fingers, I do that too to focus. So you know, I've stolen that from her. But also things like I'd sit in the makeup chair and have my hair done, have the makeup done, and then put the costume on, and then I'm, you know, in the accent, in the mindset, got the shoes on, and it's just that whole thing that happens before we even get to set is what helps me really ground myself in the character. And you know, I spend all day in the accent when I'm on set. So, and without even thinking about it, I'm not doing it on purpose. So a lot of people that I work with that perhaps I wouldn't see outside of filming just think that's my accent. It's really funny.
Well, they are wrapping me again. Congratulations to you. I cannot wait for fans to see season 2 of Foundation. This was so lovely to chat with you, Leah, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Hi, Cassian, Lauren Veneziani with DCFilmGirl.com and NBC in Baltimore. How are you today?
I'm good. You got some great films behind you.
I do. I saw on your Instagram, I know you're a big film buff too.
I am, yeah. I really am.
Yeah. Well, actually, like, what are some of your favorite films you've seen so far this year?
What have I seen this year? I've rewatched Another Round, the Thomas Vinterberg, which I really, really like. Mads Mikkelsen's probably my favorite actor. And I watch Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love all the time. So,
I know. I saw that on your Instagram, and that's actually one of my favorite films too.
yeah,
So I
it's
was
just
like,
good.
he has good taste in movies.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on season 2 of Foundation. I think that this series is truly one of the most visually stunning science fiction series of all time. And your performance as Brother Dawn is incredible. Talk to me about what it's like playing a clone, because the way that, you know, his body is moving and just like the whole movement of him, you're using your whole body to act. So
Right.
what can you tease for the fans about his journey for this season?
Well, this season, I think, yeah, you really hit the nail on the head for this season, because I feel like season 1, we see a Dawn that's very different from the other Cleons, and as a result, he has a very hard time. Whereas this season, we see a Dawn that's much closer to the other Cleons and is posing much more of a threat to the Brother Day. He's hot on the heels of Brother Day. And so when Brother Day is getting to the point where he might move on or surrender succession, I think Brother Dawn is sort of sat there waiting, wanting to, I mean, much like the show Succession and much like even The Crown, really. It's weird looking at these dynastic families and thinking, well, what if your whole life is sat in a waiting room? How does it make you feel? And I feel like this season, you see a Dawn that's really like ready to almost like hit the maturity moment and become this person that he knows is almost written in the stars for him.
I love that you just related it to Succession and The Crown, because I feel like it is a very good comparison, though, because he is just waiting there. I love that comparison. Since you are stepping back into the character, and I mean, like I said, the production design, the costume, the wardrobe is so important to this series. Is there a particular thing for you as an actor that really helps you step back into character?
It's hard to say if there's something like specific, because I feel like with this season, I was sort of starting again. I mean, you know, my character dies at the end of season 1, and I'm playing a different character, but they're also the same character. I mean, same name, same position in the family, but his interior life and the way he perceives himself is so different. And so we had some slight changes to costume. Our costume designer, Jane, was really, really brilliant and making me feel a lot more like loose and relaxed and at ease within myself. In a way that season 1 Dawn never felt at ease at all, regardless of where you found him. And I feel like this season, costume really helped, at least make that distinction between the old character and the new. I'd say, yeah, that sort of like free flow material, and just, I feel like the Cleons are constantly in their pajamas, and I feel like this season, it felt especially, we call them the Cleon PJs on set, and I feel like season 2 definitely felt more like I was at a slumber party. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Hey, I'm down for a comfortable costume.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
yes, Cassie, and they are wrapping me again. Congratulations to you. This was so much fun to chat today, and I can't wait for fans to see Brother Don in season 2 of Foundation.
Great. Thanks very much. Speak to you
Thank you
soon.
so much. Bye. Kulvinder, so nice to meet you. Congratulations on season 2 of Foundation. I think it's one of the most stunningly visual sci-fi shows I've ever seen, and I'm so excited for fans to see your character this season.
Thank you very much, Lauren.
Yes. So I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but what can you tease for the fans about your character, Polly Verisov, for this particular season?
He's very real, I think, and I think he's quite humorous as well. You know, I think he carries a. I think that's what he brings into this second season. He's very. I think people will be able to relate to him in that human aspect of Polly. As much as we have the epicness and the grandeur of this great production, but we have this kind of littleness of that we get involved with these characters, that we can relate to them and make them part of us, you know?
The production and the costuming, the wardrobe is a huge part of the show. So what is it like for you when you're stepping on set for Foundation? What is the world like when you're stepping on set?
Well, it used to start at 5 o'clock in the morning and 2 hours on the makeup, getting the prosthetics on.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I love the costume as well. It was very samurai looking costume, and to get those spats on my legs every day, you know, which was spent for that period, and they used to go get loose as well. But it was a joy because any actor would want to use costumes and makeup to go onto that set and have the confidence in delivering this character. And it's important for actors when they are very responsible for the characters that they do play. And I felt very attached to Polly, and to a certain extent, you make him yours and make him part of you. I hope that comes across because you bring his realities in that magnitude of those worlds. And hopefully, again, that he speaks for you, of the people, and people
I
can.
love that. Yeah, no, and his wardrobe is very samurai-ish, definitely a
Yeah.
staple piece. I'm curious, did you take anything from set when you were finished? Any part of like the wardrobe or anything of Polly's?
You dare not. You were told instantly, you know, you're not supposed to take anything away from you, not even the vault, the little, nothing
Oh,
was
wow.
taken.
Nothing
Everything
was
had to be
taken.
left because they might have needed it for something to do a pickup or to come back to it later or whatever. You couldn't take anything. I think the only thing I took was the actual soil from the place, that every place that we worked, a little piece of the earth. I did
That's cool. I like that. I'm curious for you. You know, this is based on a series of novels and a series of short stories. I absolutely love book to series adaptations, book to film adaptations. Do you have a favorite book to film adaptation or a book to series adaptation?
Ooh. At this
I know there's so many.
yeah, but I write myself. You know, so when you're writing and when you do making your own pieces of work,
Yeah.
they're coming from your imagination, and hopefully that one day I've been fortunate enough to get certain things made, but it definitely inspired me by being in this production, is to don't be frightened in one aspect of writing that scene with 29 Indian soldiers arriving in Marseille on 2 ships for the First World War. Write it. Have the magnitude. Don't be frightened of it. And don't, it can be done, and have hope that those visions and those ideas that you have can be shown on that screen, really.
David, so nice to meet you. Congratulations on season 2 of Foundation. I think it's one of the most beautifully, visually stunning science fiction series I've ever seen. And I'm curious for you as the creator, I know this is probably an impossible question, but what is the most important aspect in the creative process when you're making a science fiction show to this level, because it looks so beautiful.
I mean, look, it starts with just making the story relatable on a human level, even without all of the science fiction. I mean, because it doesn't matter how much money we spend, how many visual effects we have. If people don't care about the characters, if they don't care who lives or dies or who loves and who loses people, then it doesn't matter. And we've all seen shows and movies like that where you just completely check out. I do feel, though, that by doing a lot of filming on location, by creating all of that texture and all of that beauty, that it also does make us feel like we're inhabiting a world that's very textural and very real. And I think it makes it easier for the actors to inhabit those characters. And look, just my personal aesthetic is I want the show to be as beautiful and as uncompromising as it can possibly be. So, you know, I'm very exacting with my team, and I'll say that prop isn't quite good enough, or we need to kind of smooth out the pleat on that costume. And, you know, in visual effects, we'll go back and sometimes erase a stray hair here or there or something like that. But it's, I don't know, it's just, I have exacting standards, and I want it to be good, and I want people to feel like we really cared about what we were making.
I love that. And yes, a lot of the locations, you know, Iceland, everywhere that you guys have filmed are absolutely incredible. I have to say, you know, Man of Steel is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, clearly you've been in the creative game for so long, working with Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder. I watch that movie yearly. I literally just watched it the other day, like funny coincidence. And then I booked this interview with you. It made me just think when I was watching that film again, you know, what's something that you kind of learned on, you know, writing the screenplay for Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice?
Well, in the case of Man of Steel, I would just say the takeaway from that, right, is when I was growing up, I was like a Batman guy. And Superman, not so much, because I couldn't relate to Superman.
Same with my family. My brother and I were Batman fans too.
Yeah. So for me, and even applying this to characters like the Emperor or Harry Seldon, it's just like, how can I relate to them? How can I find aspects of their story that's just universal, that it doesn't matter if I'm on an alien planet or if I'm an alien or a robot. I just get it and I understand, which is why our approach on the show is every time we're coming up with a story with myself and the fellow writers, you know, we come up with a crazy story, we apply all the science fiction tropes, and then we say, well, what happens if we just pull all the science fiction out of it? Does the story still work?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then we say then we're telling the wrong story. The story isn't good enough. So you just have to be able to boil all that away and just not know that you don't have to rely on it. That the story's still strong enough even without all of that.
Again, congratulations. There's so many emotional scenes in this season. I was sad a lot of the times too with some of the characters. No spoilers for anyone, but I honestly can't. I know I can't. I'm hoping for more seasons, honestly, and I can't wait for fans to see season 2 of Foundation because it's epic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Bye.